Right now, you're probably hearing from two different kinds of people in your life: your critics and your challengers. The problem is that sometimes it's hard to know the difference because on the surface, it can sound like they're saying the same things that honestly you'd rather not hear. But if you want to grow in your life and grow in your leadership, you have to know what to do with these two voices, these two influences in your life. You've got to know how to ignore your critics and embrace your challengers. Welcome to the Ware Show, a podcast for leaders who want more and won't settle for less. Straight talk to help you lead better, live bolder, and not lose yourself in the process. If you're serious about going to the next level in life and leadership, you're in the right place. Well, welcome to another episode of the Ware Show, where we talk about life, leadership, and the pursuit of all the things we need to grow and get better and get to the next level personally and professionally. Glad to have you with us today because I want to talk about something that I think is really important, especially as we are early in this new year, still in January. So I know a lot of us, still adjusting and orienting and planning and, reworking, reinventing, all those things. And this episode is something of a continuation, or maybe an offshoot, maybe a little bit of a rabbit trail from the last episode on self-awareness. If you have not watched or listened to that one yet, stop this one right where you're at, go back, it's the one right before it, and watch it or listen to it, and then come back to this. On that episode, I talked about how important self-awareness is if we're going to grow. And I think we all know that. We all agree with that. But I listed three things that you have to do if you're going to grow in self-awareness. And one of those things is that you have to surround yourself with people who will help you. People who will help you see your blind spots, people who can point out the things that you're missing. Sometimes there's things that you can't see, but they can see. So if you have those people and you welcome their input, you invite them in, you embrace them, you really can grow. And I want to talk about that topic more today because as I've thought about it more and talked to some other people as they reflected on this episode, what I realize is that this can be a really difficult thing for some of us to do, a really difficult thing for some leaders to do, to bring those people in and really allow themselves to be surrounded by people who might be saying things to them that are not always easy to hear. The reality is that we need to surround ourselves with people who can challenge us, but not everyone can challenge us. And I would go so far as to say that not everyone should challenge us. Right? Some of us, I think, have an aversion to inviting that kind of input into our lives because we've never really had challengers. We've only had critics. And there's a huge difference. So that's what I want to talk about today is the difference between challengers and critics. Challengers versus critics. If you let critics in, it's going to hurt you. And by the same token, if you keep challengers out, it's going to hurt you. And so you have to know the difference, and you got to know why you really do need one and you really don't need the other. And so I want to start by talking a little bit about critics, because I've got some pretty strong perspectives on this, as I guess I do about most topics, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about them on this show. But I don't know, this one, for some reason, as I was preparing for it, I did get kind of fired up about it. So we just have to understand this. If you are a leader, you will have critics. You will have people who criticize what you do and how you do it. They'll criticize what you say and how you say it. They'll criticize things of both style and substance. They're not there to help you. They are there to hurt you. And whatever you do, you cannot let the critic get into your head or into your heart. Critics are a dime a dozen. Anyone can be a critic. It takes no special skill, no gifting, no experience, no insight to criticize someone else. Critics are worthless. Critics are useless. Ignore them, dismiss them, delete them, block them. Don't give critics the time of day or the satisfaction of a reply. Don't let your life or your leadership be defined by your critics. And have you ever noticed how a lot of times critics like to remain anonymous? They won't put their name on the note. They comment under fake accounts. They hide in the shadows. They wage war in the darkness. Anonymous complaints come from cowards. If you don't have the courage to sign your name, don't expect me to have the courtesy to read it or reply to it or take it seriously. Anonymity is cowardly, and leaders don't waste time and energy on cowards. One of the best pieces of advice that I ever got was to never read or reply to anonymous complaints. One of my mentors told me if someone doesn't sign it, don't read it. Throw it in the trash, delete the email, and I stand by that today. I tell other leaders to do that today. Critics hide behind these things because they're cowardly. Keyboard warriors, anonymous letter writers, whistleblowers, cowards who would rather throw shade on you and what you're doing with your life than to go do anything worthwhile with their life. One of my favorite quotes of all time is from Teddy Roosevelt. You may know it. It's called The Man in the Arena. I actually have it hanging in my office on a canvas, and he says this. I'm going to read it to you. He said, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs but comes up short again and again because there's no effort without error or shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold, timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat." Man, I love those words. Man, I get fired up every time I read them, and when I see them on the wall, when I hear them, when I people talk about them. I love that spirit. I love the heart, the passion, the perspective from one of the greatest leaders in our nation's history, that it's not the critic who counts. It's not the critic who counts. And if you're a leader listening or watching right now, I just want you to hear that. It is not the critic who counts. If you are a leader, you will have critics. Okay, there's no way around that. This is part of the gig. It comes with the territory. And so you need to expect it because it's just the way that it works. You will have critics. You'll have haters. You'll have enemies, all of that. As Winston Churchill said, you have enemies? Good. That means you have stood up for something sometime in your life. Okay, so you have to understand you will have them, you just don't need them. You don't need critics, but you do need challengers. In fact, if you really want to grow in your life and your leadership, you want challengers. You want people who will tell you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear. You want people who will point out your blind spots and your fatal flaws, all the ways that you're sabotaging yourself without even realizing it. You want these people in your life. You've got to have people around you who have the freedom, who have the ability. They've got the insight and the acumen and the permission to come and tell you, look, if you keep going this direction, you're going to sink this ship. You're headed to destruction. This is not going to work out the way you think it is. You have to have those people in your life. You've got to have people who will challenge you. You've got to have people who will bring you the bad news sometime. You've got to have people who aren't afraid of being a messenger, who's going to get shot. Don't shoot the messenger, because then you don't get any more messages, right? You want these people in your life, and you want to listen to them. I mentioned it last week, but I'll say it again today. Andy Stanley says this, that leaders who don't listen will eventually be surrounded by people who have nothing to say. Leaders who don't listen will eventually be surrounded by people who have nothing to say. And you don't want to be that person. You want people in your life who have something to say. Okay, but that means you have to listen to them, which means you have to know the difference between the critic and the challenger. Because on the surface, what they say might be the same. They might actually give you the same feedback that you don't necessarily like or even agree with. Okay, but how they say it, and more importantly, why they say it, is what makes all the difference. Last week, I had a conversation with a local business owner who wanted to explore what it would look like to work with me as an executive leadership coach. And she asked all kinds of questions, really good questions, really sharp gal. And when I explained my method to her, how I coach leaders, I told her this: most coaches will have your back, but they won't get in your face. I'm the one who does both. I'm not the coach who just asks good questions. I'm the one who gives you hard feedback. Not because I'm against you, but because I'm for you. Because I'm on your side, because I want you to win. That's why I'm willing to challenge you. Okay, I am a challenger. Part of it's just the way that I'm made. It's part of my wiring and my personality and all of that. But part of it's because I believe that's how I can best serve the leaders around me, is by being that voice of challenge. Okay, and I appreciate all the modern coaching techniques. Ask a lot of questions and let people self-discover and lead themselves to the conclusion. All that's fine, but I also appreciate the traditional, sort of sports style coaching, the kind of almost the stereotypical image that you have of a coach who's not afraid to tell you like it is. And I don't mean, being mean or rude or yelling at you or demeaning or any of those things, but when you see a coach get in a player's face on the sideline, and he's going off, he's losing, and he's yelling and screaming, all of that, you have to keep in mind they're on the same team. That coach wants you to be your best. They want you to win. The difference between a critic and a challenger isn't just what they say, it's why they say it. Critics want to discourage you, and challengers want to encourage you. Critics want to tear you down, and challengers want to build you up. Critics want to hurt you, and challengers want to help you. Critics destroy your value, and challengers add value to you. Critics cheer when you fail, and challengers cheer when you succeed. At their core, a critic is against you, and a challenger is for you. And the great irony of life and leadership is that while you don't need critics, you'll always have them. And while you do need challengers, you don't always have them, especially if you don't value them, if you don't embrace them, if you don't cultivate them. If you treat a challenger like a critic, you'll lose them. And you'll rob yourself of the rich value they could add to your life and your leadership. And I've seen people do this. I've seen good leaders, high-level leaders, high-capacity leaders push challengers away when they really needed them in their lives. And there's a few reasons why that might happen, why you might push someone away who's really there to help you, to encourage you, to see you win. They just want to challenge you to be the best version of yourself. But here's some reasons that you might push them away, or you might, kind of keep them at arm's length. Maybe you've been hurt. You've been betrayed by someone close to you, and so that makes it hard for you to trust people again, to trust their heart and their intentions. Maybe you're insecure. So any feedback you get, you take it really personally. You take it hard. You internalize it, and it kind of affects your self-esteem and all of that. Maybe you're a people pleaser. You want everyone to like you, and so you interpret anything that feels like negative feedback as somebody not liking you, and so it just crushes you. Maybe you're just proud. You think you got it all together, even though you know deep down that you don't, and guess what? Everybody else knows it too. Okay, so I get it. I understand that those are some of the dynamics in play. Those are some of the motivations, and I experience some of these myself. The leaders I work with do too, right? So if one of those describes you, I'm not shaming you for it, but because I'm a challenger, I do want to call you out on it. I want to tell you that if you don't work on that, if you don't grow through that, if you don't mature in that area of your life, that area of your leadership, you are shortchanging your potential. You are not maximizing everything that you could, and you're leaving some of your growth on the table. I know some leaders who are doing this right now, stiff-arming the very people who could help them, the very people who care about them and want them to succeed. But because of those things I just mentioned, they've been hurt, or they're insecure, or they're people-pleasing, or they're just too dang proud. They're robbing themselves of exactly what they need at this time in their leadership. One of the other key differentiators between critics and challengers is that usually challengers have relational equity with you, and critics usually don't. Challengers, usually you find them up close, whereas critics are usually a little bit further away. They're a little bit further removed. And of course, they like to stay there because it's safer there, right? They can hide. But a quick side note here, if you do have a friend, somebody who maybe has been a challenger, who you feel like now has turned, something shifted and now they're a critic, the frenemy, right? Something very toxic obviously has happened in that relationship. And so if they demonstrate disloyalty to you and the dynamics have shifted, I want you to hear me. They are no longer your friend. Okay, it's a topic for another podcast, but I felt like I needed to say that here. You have to accurately assess that, though. You can't assume that just because they don't like something or don't agree with something doesn't mean that they've turned on you either. Okay, so don't jump to conclusions. Don't the first time that they disagree with you, you're like, they've turned on you and they're disloyal. No, it's not that necessarily. But if you sense that deep down something has changed, you need to pay attention to that. And sometimes people who used to be a friend have turned to become an enemy. If you are an insecure leader, you may interpret disagreement as disloyalty, and it's not necessarily. Disrespect is disloyalty. Dishonor is disloyalty. Disparagement is disloyalty, but disagreement is not necessarily disloyalty. In fact, disagreement from people who are close to you, people who are invested in you, people who have demonstrated that they are for you, might be the very best thing that you could have as a leader, because it forces you to dig deeper and really know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Disagreement with the right people the right way can make you better than you ever would have been on your own. King Solomon said it this way in the biblical book of Proverbs. He said, "Wounds from a friend can be trusted." Wounds from a friend can be trusted. In other words, when you know someone's on your side, even if what they're saying hurts you, it actually helps you. A challenger is someone who doesn't always help you feel good today, but they help you get good tomorrow. All right, so how do you know? How do you really know if that person is a critic of your life or a challenger for your life? And by the way, challengers can come from a lot of different places. They might be people in your family. They could be people who are your close friends in your community. They could be people who work with you. Superiors could challenge you. Subordinates can challenge you. Peers can challenge you. It doesn't come from one specific place. It could be up or down or lateral or any of those things. But I think no matter where it comes from, no matter who they are, there are three things you have to look for in a challenger for your life and your leadership. To me, these are three things that are non-negotiables. I have to have all three. If I'm gonna welcome that person in, if I'm gonna listen to their input, if I'm gonna invite them to push me, to pull me, to challenge me, to point out blind spots, to give me feedback that sometimes I know is gonna be uncomfortable, I wanna see all three of these things in them before I welcome them and invite them into that kind of role. Okay, so here they are. Three things. Number one is this: do they love you as a person? Do they love you as a person? I said it earlier, but usually a critic is far away and a challenger is up close. So if you're wondering if this person could be the challenger you need, ask yourself, do you feel like they love you as a person? Have they proven that? Have they demonstrated that somehow? Have they stuck with you through some hard times? Have they showed you some compassion in a tough situation or a tough conversation? Have they shown you somehow that they value who you uniquely are, how you're wired, all your quirks and idiosyncrasies? Do you feel like they love you as a person? That's number one. Okay, if they don't have that, then all bets are off, right? Do they love you as a person? Number two, do they love your purpose? Do they love your purpose? Do they see you? Do they get you? Do they understand why you're here, why you're on this earth? Okay, do they love what you have to offer? Do they believe in the purpose and the vision and the sense of calling that you carry in your life? Do they recognize and champion your unique value proposition? Okay, because you have one. Everyone has one. Every leader has one. There's only one you. You're the only one who can do certain things in this world. And if somebody is going to challenge you to be at your best, they have to see that. Do they love you as a person? Do they love your purpose? Number three, do they love your potential? Do they love your potential? Do they love what you are capable of? Do they love what they believe you would be at your very best, what you would look like when you're contributing at the highest level you're capable of? A real friend, which I believe a challenger is, although maybe not in the traditional sense of that we think of as friends, but a real friend is someone who refuses to let you settle for less than your best. They'll fight for your potential even when you've given up. They'll remind you of your vision when you've lost sight of it. They'll push you, pull you, drag you if they have to. They accept you where you are, but they love you too much to let you stay there. When you find people who love you as a person, love your purpose, love your potential, I'm asking you, when you find these people, I'm begging you, please allow them to be challengers in your life. Allow them to tell you things that don't feel good in the moment. Allow them to share their perspective. And I know it's hard. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes to get hard feedback, but we need it. It may not feel good, but it's necessary. So I'm asking you, please have those people, invite those people in, welcome those people. And when they give you that feedback, don't get defensive. Don't push back. Don't tell them that they're wrong. Don't snap at them. Not if you really want to grow. If you want to get to the next level, if you want to grow in your life and your leadership, you've got to have these people. You've got to have challengers. People like this are gold to a leader who will embrace them. Ignore your critics and embrace your challengers. Ignore your critics and embrace your challengers, and watch how you grow in every area, personally and professionally, because of it. Hey, I hope this has helped you because, like I mentioned a moment ago, I think of myself as a challenger. I like to push the envelope a little bit and ask the questions and sometimes get in people's face and make them uncomfortable in a good way, in the right way. That's how I serve the leaders that I coach and consult. And if you think maybe that's something that would help you where you're at right now, maybe you need a little bit of that, reach out to me, let me know. We can explore what it would look like to work together. You can find me at themattware.com and at themattware on all the social channels. If this episode has helped you or triggered you, I'd love to hear about it. And I'd love it even more if you'd share it with someone else. Rate it, review it, share it, subscribe to it, all the things that help us, bump the algorithm and reach more people. But until next time, not only should you ignore your critics and embrace your challengers, but go lead better and live bolder.